You're not lazy, you're trapped. What if laziness does not exist? What if everything you have been told about hard work, discipline, and success was designed to keep you obedient and not fulfilled? You wake up. You feel heavy. You look at your to-do list and your chest tightens. You scroll through social media, see everyone hustling, and you wonder, why can't I just do what they're doing? You start calling yourself lazy. But what if that label is a lie? You were not born lazy. You were born curious, excited, full of life. Ever seen a child just sit there doing nothing because they felt uninspired? No, they move, they explore, they get into everything. That spark was always there, until it was crushed under expectations, guilt, shame, and pressure. So when did you start calling yourself lazy? When school made you sit still for 8 hours a day? When religion made you feel like rest was sinful? When society made you believe your worth is in how much you produce? The truth is, you are not lazy. You are overwhelmed. You are burned out. You are carrying the weight of expectations you never agreed to. You are stuck in systems that were never made for you. And the worst part? You have been made into thinking it is your fault. Let us make some people uncomfortable. You have been told God is watching you, that He expects you to be good, obedient, hardworking. But you were not told that God also rested, that God created the Sabbath, that Jesus wept. You were not told that prophets isolated themselves to deal with their emotions. That monk spent years in silence, not working, not grinding, but simply being alone. So who told you rest was wrong? You see, religion got hijacked by control. It stopped being about peace and started being about performance. You are told to wake up early, pray hard, work harder, and smile while doing it. But what if your soul is rejecting that performance? What if you are not motivated, just deeply isolated? You are not struggling because you are weak. You are struggling because you are in a life that does not fit you. You wake up dreading the day, not because you are lazy, but because you feel like you have no say in it. You go to work, sit under fluorescent lights, make money for someone else, answer emails you do not care about, then come home too exhausted to chase your own dreams. And the world looks at you and says, try harder. Try harder? Even machines shut down when they overheat. Even animals stop moving when they are afraid. Your shutdown is not failure, it is feedback. Your body is saying, this isn't it, this isn't the life I want. Studies from major universities like Stanford, Harvard, and Yale have shown it is not laziness that kills motivation. It is emotional fatigue, lack of autonomy, and disconnection. But no one tells you that. Instead, they sell you productivity planners and $200 morning routine courses. You do not need a better planner. You need to stop living a life that drains you. Think about it. When you are doing something you love, do you need motivation? Do you need someone to tell you to do it? No, you move, you create, you come alive. That is not motivation, that is alignment. But alignment is dangerous to the system, because aligned people do not obey blindly. They do not work dead-end jobs. They do not live just to survive. They question everything, they challenge the rules. And that makes you a threat. The word lazy has become a weapon, a way to shame people into conformity. Don't like school? You're lazy. Don't want to work 60 hours a week? Lazy. Don't feel like being productive after surviving trauma, grief, loss, anxiety, depression? Lazy. But what if that label is just a mask to hide your pain? A shortcut society uses this because it's too uncomfortable to ask, what's really going on with you? There's a man who wakes up every day at 5 a.m., works a job he hates, comes home, zones out on the couch, drinks a beer, and does it all again. Society calls him responsible. But is he alive? Now there's another man who wakes up late, paints for 3 hours, cries while listening to music, writes in a journal, takes long walks, smiles at strangers, and has just enough to get by. Society calls him lazy. But is he alive? Which man is really free? You were born into a machine, a system that rewards output, obedience, and appearances. And anytime you try to unplug, even just to rest, you feel guilt. That guilt is not yours. That guilt is inherited. Your family may have passed it down. Maybe your parents worked 3 jobs and called you spoiled for wanting more. Maybe your culture told you crying was weakness. Maybe your religion told you every moment not spent working was a moment wasted. But here is the question. Are those beliefs helping you thrive, or are they just keeping you quiet? Your brain does not understand laziness. It understands fear. It understands shame. It understands exhaustion. So when you cannot get out of bed, it is not because you are lazy. It's because some part of you doesn't feel safe to begin. How many of your thoughts are even yours? How many times have you stopped yourself from resting because someone else's voice said, "You haven't earned it yet"? Earned it? Who made that rule? You do not have to earn rest. You do not have to earn love. You do not have to earn the right to slow down. That is not self-care, that is self-respect. Discipline is not the answer when your spirit is starving. You can't punish yourself into healing. You cannot shame yourself into growth. That is like yelling at a flower for not blooming fast enough. That is like whipping a horse that is already limping. And yet the world tells you, just be more disciplined. Like you have not tried. Like you have not cried on the bathroom floor, screamed into your pillow, made to-do lists at 3 a.m., downloaded every app, watched every video, read every quote. You have tried. You have fought. You are still here. That is not laziness. That is resilience. They told you pain is weakness, but pain is a signal. It is your body saying, pay attention. So when you feel stuck, it is not because you are broken. It is because something in your life needs to change, and you have been taught to fear change. No one taught you how to rest. They taught you how to crash. They taught you to keep pushing until you collapse. Then wonder why you cannot get up the next day. That is not rest, that is survival. You've been surviving for so long, you've forgotten how to feel alive. You've learned to celebrate burnout, to brag about being tired, to make jokes about coffee being your personality. That is not cute. That is trauma. That is collective burnout, dressed up as ambition. But what if rest was radical? What if doing nothing was the most powerful rebellion? They cannot control people who know how to say no, who know how to listen to their own bodies, who don't need external validation to feel worthy. You are not lazy. You are healing. You are grieving. You are awakening. You are slowly, painfully, and beautifully unlearning every lie that they told you you had to be anything other than yourself. And if no one has told you this before, I am proud of you, not because of what you have done, but because you have survived in a world that never gave you room to breathe. You don't need to change who you are. You need to change what you've been taught to believe about who you are. You were told your worth comes from work. That is false. You were told rest is for the weak. That is false. You were told you are lazy. That is the biggest lie of all. The truth is, you are not lazy. You are just trapped. And now, you are starting to see the bars. And the moment you see the bars, you have already begun to escape.